There we are.
There it
You
is.
know, I missed that little intro and applause because I am not smart enough to figure that out when I go solo to put that on the screen. So I appreciate that. By the way, welcome back from vacation, Mr. Coffman. How are you doing today?
I am. I am good. I am good. I am not. No complaining today. No complaining. But I had as you are aware, I had an interesting vacation, and I think the last time that I was on, we um, talked about these box jumps I did and this injury I got, and I'm going to save everybody the gory details, but I did some stupid stuff on vacation, and it did not bode well for me. Brother, I'm going to have to show you some pictures, man. We had just a crazy time. One of the things we did was my buddy he's a survivalist, like he's a minimalist, survivalist guy. He's trained in all like ocean rescue, swiftwater rescue, and all this stuff. So we decided to put his swiftwater skills to the test, and we did. It did not end up. In fact, his canoe. We took a canoe, all right, out on class 2, class 3 rapids.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and it ended exactly the way you think it would have ended.
Yeah.
And in fact, his boat is still wrapped around a rock out in the middle of the Rappahannock River right now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But nevertheless, we had a great experience. It was awesome. I mean, it was awesome, an awesome time. But anyway,
and you came back through Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg, one of your favorite spots, is it not?
We did, yeah. We usually pick. I think you know this as well. We usually go out and we get a cabin like out in nowhere. But we happened to stay this time in a condo at the top of this mountain. So we had just an awesome view of, you could just see for miles and miles and miles. But Gatlinburg's not really it's not the town of Gatlinburg's not really my cup of tea. It's just too many people, you know. But I will, and with this injury that I have, I couldn't really go out and hike and all of this good stuff. So we ended up spending a little bit of time in Gatlinburg. It wasn't that bad. It was fun. So anyway, yeah, I had a great vacation, man. Thanks for asking.
That's all good. And well, it was just so you know what you missed here. It was hotter than the 7th level of hell when you were going. I don't know if it was that hot in Virginia and Gatlinburg, but man, it got me a couple of days here. I mean,
I know what you're talking. It wasn't that hot in either one of those places, but on our way back, we came back Monday. We drove back on Monday, and God, just to get out and put gas in the car was just. I was like, oh my God. And every year I proclaim that, and I still believe this. I don't care what anybody says. The greatest invention of all time is air conditioning. Like whoever figured that out, the greatest invention ever.
100%.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was heavenly sent, the inspiration for because I mean, it's not completely obvious about how the system works. Like you don't just wake up one night or have a dream about, hey, this is how I'm going to make that work. You know what I mean? This is like divinely inspired or something. Yes, air conditioning.
For sure.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Well, welcome to the podcast. We were off last week. Guys just need a little break last week, if I'm being honest. So we were off last week. So welcome back to the Creative Real Estate Mastery Podcast, powered by us, the gentlemen here at Sub 2 Empire. So we appreciate you if you are watching this or might be watching it later or see it when I post it out multiple times on all the different social media stuff too. So hopefully you'll take a look. So we appreciate that. But what's on tap? What's our topic for today, Mr. Coffman?
Well, today, after trying to pull this all together and my brain's just not working. I'm on these antibiotics and it's just not working right. But I think we've got a good one lined up here. We're going to talk today about the power of relationships in real estate or in real estate investing. And specifically, we'll talk about who you know is probably a greater asset to have than what you know. And we kind of run through this stuff with some of our partners and students and stuff too. We get some folks that come through, and all they want to do is they want to learn. Like I say, just want to stay in the books. And those are the people, generally speaking, I hate to say it, but those are the people that just don't seem to, they just don't seem to come out swinging. It seems like those are the people that ultimately in the end up being the ones that are not successful in this business. It's probably been said way too many times, but it's the doers that actually make it. It's the people that actually maybe they don't learn everything, but they're doers, and they get out there and they try. And one of those aspects of this is actually networking and finding people, finding partners, finding folks that knows things that know things that you don't, and perhaps even partnering with those folks, or just taking them out to lunch, picking their brain type of thing. So it's building a network of these folks, and I think probably it's probably true for you. In fact, you've kind of proven this with these recent flips that we've been doing. Like all the people that they've really come through: the plumbers, the electricians, and even the partner that we're in with us on this one. I mean, it's just good to know people, because number one, you can't know everything, and number two, you can't do everything. So so this one's going to be all about networking. That's my long-winded way of saying this is going to be about the power of relationships in real estate investing,
and moving away from what we typically talk about, which is strategies or deal evaluation or all that stuff too, system, which is all important, right? But here, we're going to focus on the power of the relationship, or the network. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just commiserating with you there about, I've not had a good week. We have some permitting issues with this particular flip that you just mentioned that we're doing there, and it's like, all right, sometimes you're told one thing, and then when the actual inspector's there, you're told another, and then like, what are you supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? Now,
that's classic St. Louis, by the way. Classic St. Louis municipalities. It's just
but granted, we did roll the dice with a couple of things there that we ultimately got burned on. But but what you're saying is so right. This is like, okay, it's like, what are we gonna do now? Like, we got to fix it. Like, it's about solving problems, and the more people the greater your ability to solve problems. Yeah. So like it was like great. Yeah, it's like all hands on deck trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? Here's what we need here. Here's what we need here. Like, what are we going to do? Hopefully the final piece of the puzzle will be this afternoon, right? To get all this fixed. But yeah, it's interesting. And, I also learned another very good thing too. This is like, the pro tip. No matter how many flips you've done, no matter how many transactions you closed, you can always feel like a rookie sometimes. And boy, did I feel like a rookie this week.
It's humbling, man. Yeah. I mean, it's I've never had, first of all, I'm going to say two things. I've never had a rehab go exactly according to plan, ever, not one time. So you got to be super flexible with that. But also, there's been no two deals that have ever been alike.
No.
And you've got to be willing to adjust, and you got to, unfortunately, you got to take some on the chin sometimes, and just kind of deal with it. It's one of those things when you're down and out, you're super tired, or you're just burnt. Like I don't know about you, but I just had my vacation. I think it was great. It helped me out a lot, but I came back here and I'm like, oh man, we're still dealing with this. Like I'm just burnt on it a little bit. And I know you are, because you've been dealing with a lot more of this than I have. So I can only imagine. But no, I think we're getting down to the end of the road on this one. And I think you've already told us, I don't know if you've mentioned this, but we've already got some really interested buyers there. So
yeah. Oh, the feedback of the people that have been through there has been tremendous. Actually, even the inspector said it was on the high end of, and he says he does 8 to 10 inspections a day every day, and is in every condo, townhouse in the municipality and all that stuff. And he said it's definitely at the higher end.
Good.
So
Perfect.
yeah. So yeah, that makes me feel better. And I was like, okay, and you're nickel and diming me on this bullshit. Nah, sorry. anyway, as an aside there. So let's segue though and talk about what you know, because I don't want to give the impression of like you can gloss over not knowing shit and just figure out partners over here, which is true to an extent. But man, you still need to know what you're doing, especially with the creative stuff that we practice, right? You need to know how to do the paperwork for your subject to deal. There's no getting around that. Like if you want to do subject to deals and you want to be buy and hold or even flip the sub to or whatever it is that you want to do, like you better cover your assets with the proper paperwork and all that stuff. And so that's knowledge based. So I don't want to gloss over the fact that like you still need to know the knowledge. But I think what we're trying to emphasize here is don't get so bogged down that rabbit hole that you never do a deal and you never get out there and make contacts with people that can help you where you want to be. So
I mean, I tend to find people that get too bogged down in the books. They end up, this is a generalization. I'm not saying this is everyone, but a lot of these people, they end up actually developing fear of doing, let's say it's subject to, they develop a fear through like, oh crap, now I know all this stuff. Now I've got to try and put this into action, but man, where do I start? Where do now I got to go back. And so my argument is just start, just do it. There's no way, and there's no amount of really, I think this is probably true with a lot of things, but I don't think there's any amount of reading that can actually prepare you for, that can prepare you. Because there's no, like I just said just a minute ago, no two deals are the same. I mean, and that's the same whether it's whether you acquire, however you might acquire it with the financing, no two deals are going to be the same. So it is very good to load yourself up with on the education side, but if you don't, I'll say if you don't practice that while you're learning, I think you're going to be lost when it comes to the end. A lot of people just get they get fearful about actually putting what they've learned into practice. So. All right, where do we start here? Let's see. I guess we kind of already did, but I guess let's talk about number one, why. We kind of touched on this just now, but why relationships matter more than knowledge. This is a really good point. I'm kind of going off my notes here, but a really good point. There's this myth that people believe that they say if I just learn enough, the deals will come. And now that's a really, really short way of saying. It's sort of like folks who aren't good at marketing. They think that they just learn this stuff. No. Let me. I'm going to back up. I'm going to put this out there. It's like folks that go out and create something. I don't know if you've ever noticed it. They go out and create something. They think for some reason, well, I've created it. Now let's just put it out there and sell it. And it's like, okay, who are you selling it to? Who's your buyer? And so I kind of liken it to that. It's like, you've got to, no amount of reading, or no amount, I shouldn't say that either. No amount of book smarts can replace actual action. And it can augment it, it can help it, but it's not going to replace it. So
yeah, as an example, so I'm going to get back to your marketing thing you're saying too.
Okay.
But as an example, like there's no book, there's no course that and believe me, I've spent tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably 6 figures over the course of last 25 years on education and marketing. And I have never once seen a class that is about how to deal with property inspectors or how to deal with a contractor that's trying to screw you over, right? I mean, that's just real life experience that you have to, and the best way to do that is to partner with somebody, right? Or to have a network or to have a trusted contractor, or to have the person that can be with you with the inspector there to just say, oh shit, no, we're not having interconnected smoke detectors. That's not code. I've got the code right here. You know what I mean? As an example that we were talking about before, and all that on there too. I want to talk about the marketing. I think what you said is which I got the little thing displayed down there about our marketing course, is you still have to do the work. You have to know how to marketing. The more people you know does, to an extent, you might disagree with this, but I believe this does to an extent decrease your marketing efforts because you're going to get deal flow through your network, through word of mouth over here. That is true to an extent, but you still need to know how to market. You still have to find the deals.
For sure.
Especially if you don't have the network belt, right? You still have to do the work. You still have to catch deals. And just because you know how to market, if you don't turn the on switch, which is what I think you just said, you're still not going to get any deals. Like, you have to take the action, right? Long story short is you have to take the action in order to find the deals.
Yeah. Since we're talking about marketing, this is actually kind of one of the reasons we chose this topic today. You know, when I got started in this, I used to run Google ads. I started running a bunch of social media ads and stuff like that. And honestly, I did quite well because I had to run those things because I had no network. Like, I had to learn how to market myself and market my business. But eventually, and this is the cool thing about what they call niching down, you know, finding your niche and being super focused on one particular area, if you will. And so that's where, like, creative finance has actually helped me in that. And I've stated this before, I have virtually no marketing budget anymore at this stage. Almost all of my deals, not all of them, but almost all of them, come through some form of networking. So, you know, just to kind of reiterate and go back to what we're ultimately talking about today, it's been for me more about who I know versus what I know. Now, what I know is irreplaceable. It's something that I can't put a price on the knowledge that I've gained throughout the past 10 years, but none of it really means anything if I don't have the deals, and the deals were built through the people that I know and the network that I've built. So, you know, and I think everyone can get there. I think everyone can do the same thing. You know, in fact, I know a ton of rehabbers and even a lot of buy and hold people. They solely rely on wholesalers, and they do quite well. Now, that may not be our choice, our number one choice of sourcing deals, but you know, certainly they have their place. So, but yeah, so 3 types of relationships every investor is going to need. Number one, and we're going to talk about different categories here, I guess, of people in your network. By the way, don't we have a video out there somewhere of?
We have lots of videos out there, brother.
Isn't there one about building a power team out there?
Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get a chance, go out and check that one out. Just do a search on our channel for. I think the title's even a power team or something like that.
Yeah, it might be. I know there's one inside of our inside the training in the academy, our deal partner program too. But yeah, I believe that there's free. We have a lot of free stuff out there too. So yeah.
So 3 types of relationships every investor needs. You need to be able to source deals. So that can be through sourcing deals. Can come through. We just talked about wholesalers. It can come through your own marketing channels. It can come through social media. You know, we've talked about a million times talked about making sure that you go out there and you post, tell people, tell the world, get out on Facebook, tell the world exactly what you do and what you're looking for. I mean, I've sourced deals that way for sure. So we've got wholesalers, your own marketing, through word of mouth. You can talk to agents. There's tons of investor agents out there that.
And you need to find a good investor agent too, by the way, not just any real estate agent, but one that specifically works with investors.
Yeah. And specifically, I think if you can find a really top-notch, like a top-notch broker, like a brokerage that does a ton of that transactions. Like, what's the name of that publication? I'm zoning on it right now. Is it Scotsman's Guide or something like that? I think it's Scotsman's. That has they rank all the brokerages in specific cities.
Oh, yeah, they do a lot of rankings in a
lot of deal volume. And so, a lot of those folks, particularly like the Keller Williams types and a lot of the smaller brokerages, those are almost exclusively investors. They do a lot of investor transactions through those types of things. So agents are definitely a good investor agent is definitely someone to know for sure.
Yep. And you can still you can still find deals on the MLS. Like this flip project we were just talking about, that came from the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still find deals, but perhaps not as many as if you have a good wholesaling network or your own marketing channels or whatever they may be. And you mentioned social media too. Don't forget about the Facebook groups. There's a lot of power. There's some good, we're here in the St. Louis area, so there's a lot of good Facebook groups here in the St. Louis area for investing specific. So,
yep. Your next one in this line. Are you finished with that? I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to move on. Next one is going to be capital partners. How are you going to buy these deals if you don't have capital? Now, you might have your own capital, but again, I think we talked about the last time we were on. Wasn't the last time I was on? I think it was maybe the time before that or one of the two. But we talked about the preferred way. If you have your own cash, I personally would rather see you lend that cash out and borrow from someone else. You're kind of hedging. Well, I'm gonna say you're just leveraging someone else's money for your deals. Meanwhile, your money is earning capital on somebody else's deal, and you're protected in two ways there. Number one, your deal. If you're a solid individual, your deal is going to pay off, and also you are earning interest on the capital that you lend out, and which, by the way, is backed up by yet another property. So you have it that's collateralized, and I think it's just a safer bet than putting your own money into your own deals and becoming ultimately cash poor potentially. So understanding knowing capital partners is a must in this business. You have to be able to have access to capital. And
can I do the shameless plug?
Shameless plug.
We just have so in the future, like in very short order, we started our own real estate fund. There's been podcasts here, so hopefully you've seen that. And our fund right now, which is called the Creative RE Capital Fund, is now open for investors. So we can be your capital partner. Right now, we are in the stage of raising capital for our fund for the purposes of lending out to you as the real estate investor.
Yeah.
So we have that upside. So I just wanted to put the shameless plug out there. We're very excited. Like, you see the smile on my face. Like, we've been working a long time on this, and now we're to the point where it's up and open, right, for investors. And now we're going to get the capital and start lending out for these deals to be the capital partner for people.
Yeah,
right?
and
leveling up. Don't forget leveling up in 2025.
Yeah, I mean that it's I probably wouldn't even bring this up except for the fact that our fund is working a little bit different than most funds. Like, we understand the creative side of real estate investing, and so we're going to be able to fund deals that are kind of out of the box and away from your normal. Now we will fund eventually. We will fund just your kind of regular run of the mill deals, your cash offers. Happy to do that, but one of the things that we have built into our fund is to be able to lend to people, particularly who are doing subject to deals and need we call it bridge gap funding or bridge funding for their subject to deals. So good segue. That was a good segue into kind of promoting a little bit of that, but that's up and running now. And as Ken said, we are looking for investors right now. We've got some ideas, and we will let you guys know whenever we're ready to start doling out funds.
Yeah, and also too, I think sometimes we don't stress this enough too. Is one of the main reasons we want to start the fund too is to make sure that our students who come into our coaching program, right, which is the Deal Partner program at the present time, the Creative Deal Partners program, is that we have the opportunity now to be totally turnkey, where
Yep.
we will help you acquire the deal, close the deal, implement whatever the exit strategy is, and have the funding there to do all of that.
Yep.
So that's what one of our goals is too, by the way. We don't want to glance on that, talking about the power of your network, right? So we are trying to level up our ability to be your partner in all your real estate needs. So
yeah, it's a nice it's a full ecosystem now. We have everything that anyone that would would love to become a deal partner, or maybe even just the run through the Creative Finance Academy. We have the funding or we have the ability to now make this make its own ecosystem that's kind of full spectrum, and we we go from A to Z at this point. So
yep, more on that later as we'll wrap it up with another pitch for that too, by the way. But yeah, that's good.
Finally,
yep, go ahead.
I would say the third type of relationship you must have are, now we have down here trusted advisors, but this is going to be people like your attorneys, your closers, your title, your title companies, your particularly I like to get friendly with the actual closer, someone that closes. The same person can close my deals over and over and over again. But I'm not, we just kind of have an understanding and a trust between us. But this also includes your contractors. This goes all the way down to the cleaning company that you call, or the staging company that you call if you're selling something. And but yeah, so those would be what we would consider trusted advisors. So again, go out and find that other video after you're done watching this one, and we talk all about building a power team. That's what we call a power team.
Can I just say too, like, sometimes I take for granted about, like, actually the quality and the amount of people I now know real estate related, like in all the different aspects of real estate. And I can't tell you how many times, like, talking about the title company, like, how many times have people asked you, is like, oh, I can't figure out, this title company's giving me a hard time about this. I'm just like, well, send it over here to Vision Title at Jenny. See, free plug for Jenny, and get it done. Like, I can't even tell you how many times, or Freedom Title, or whatever it is. It's just like, yeah, well, we can get that closed. Like, I don't know, like, you have trouble with the loan, like, go to this person and we'll get that fixed for you. Like, there's all kinds of things and I take for granted sometimes about how powerful that is, and I don't even realize it. Like, people just ask me, I'm just saying, yeah, try this, go to that. But I mean, it actually works. Like, they're actually using these people, and these people are solving their problems. And so, yeah, it's a very important aspect.
Yeah. That kind of leads into bullet point number 3 here, which is, well, how do you actually go about that? How do you actually build an authentic relationship with folks in your network? And right off the bat, rule number 1 is give before you ask. There's a, this kind of, there's a law of reciprocity that comes into play whenever you follow this philosophy. Give something before you ask for something. It's actually a standard. It's a standard in any of the masterminds that you're going to go to, any of the meetups. It's just good business practice too. I mean, some folks are maybe not, maybe not built that way, but if they're in this business long enough, they're going to figure it out. I guarantee you that. There's not much that any of us who have been doing this for a while. There's not many of us that don't understand that at this point. Like there's especially with people in our network, just because, like I said, the laws of reciprocity. It doesn't necessarily mean that person is obligated to do something for you, but there's just a natural inclination for these folks. Like if you offer some value to someone, it's really, really, generally speaking, it's not a problem for them to offer something back to you. And this is how business gets done. This is how you build that trust and relationships.
Yeah. Can I just give a pro tip there?
So Go for it.
If you're going up to somebody, like maybe you saw someone speak at a meetup or at a RIA, we call them meetups, but at a RIA or wherever you are, and you see that too, and you're like, oh man, boy, it'd be great. I'm gonna take that guy. I'm gonna take that to lunch and just see if I can like pick the brain or get some information or whatever. And I'm gonna pay for the lunch and pick up the tab and blah blah blah. Don't fake it. Right? Because the person that has the knowledge is going to ask you some questions, right? Just to, like, they don't know, you just get to know questions, or even at the lunch or whatever too. And this is just for me. I can't speak for you, Jeff, but I inside of 2 minutes can figure out whether they're bullshitting me or not. This may go back to me being in charge of human resources for many years. Like my bullshit meter is pretty stout. And so my pro tip is, this goes back to have some knowledge about what you're seeking advice for if you're trying to do that, right? Don't just fake it until you make it. And don't expect to ask all these general questions and then have the person sit here and give you a whole book and a master plan about how to set your business up. That's not how shit works, right? So don't expect that.
Yeah, I think conversely, I'll build on top of that a little bit. It is definitely okay for you to not know everything. If you're having it, if you go out and you say, hey, I'd like to meet with you to pick your brain. And if I agreed to that, which I have to tell you right off the bat, that rubs me the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong way because I know that this is probably someone, more than likely, maybe not 100% of the time, but they're takers. They're there to take from you. They're there to steal your time. And, the offering is a lunch. Well, hell, I can go to my kitchen and eat lunch. That doesn't, So if it's someone who's genuinely interested in working with me, that's fine. But like you, the BS meter goes off. And that the key words there are pick your brain. It's like, I don't know if I have time. Like you are way low on my list of priorities. If those words come out of your mouth, it's unfortunately, it's just the way that it is because, we all get busy and quite honestly, him or her picking my brain does not really get me paid. So I have to put it way, way down on that list of priorities. All right. But, dude, this one's a big one. Like this next bullet point coming up here. I think in a business like ours, I think this is probably one of the biggest intangibles that exist. And I found this out the hard way, by the way. And this is reputation. And the reputation is the real ROI of relationships. So for example, I'm going to use our relationship as an example. When I got, we all know, I don't know if how many, people have watched our previous videos, maybe may not know this story, but in 2019, I got scammed by these folks on a property. Big, long story. You can go out and search YouTube for St. Louis serial squatters. You'll see the whole thing. But Ken was one of my lenders on this deal that I got scammed on. And the thought that I had to tell Ken, this is before we were apart, the thought that I had to tell him, like, dude, I'm sorry, but you may not get paid back. And the house that is collateralized, the loan that you gave me, it may not cover, I mean, the thought of that, even today, whether it's you or it's any lender that I'm using, the thought of that happening today, it just makes me sick to my stomach. But I think what ended up happening, and the reason that that we're friends to this day, is that I did not let that. I didn't bury my head in the sand on that, and that goes along with this idea that your reputation, in this business particularly, your reputation is everything. And I made a mistake really early on with a property I bought subject to. Talked about that before, where I actually missed a payment. I missed a payment on this particular subject to property. And one of the other investors that I was working with at the time found out about it. And it wasn't an intentional type of thing. It's just a chain of events happened where, I thought I was going to close this. I was flipping this property. I thought I was going to close it on the specific date. Well, that ended up not closing, and I didn't make that payment until the day after it was actually due, because I thought the loan was going to be paid off. And so, I had another investor out there with me, kind of looking at this deal, and I was like, hey, I just made the mistake. I made a mistake. I miscalculated a lot of things, and ever since then, that has stuck with me since 2000. I was in 2015. Yeah. That has stuck with me ever since. Like, I will never. That's the worst feeling in the world, especially if especially if you're trying to market yourself to other people. Just all about reputation. So, kind of backtracking a little bit. Somebody asks you to lunch or something like that, and they have a bad reputation. They have or a reputation for maybe not living up to their promises and what have you. Then, yeah, it's a pretty big deal in this space.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because over the years, like, you just establish yourself. And the highest compliment, which I was paid not too long ago, but is like, I get called by, well, I guess it's several years ago now. So it's been so long. It's several years ago now. So I get called by a seller that we had purchased property from and flipped. It was a flip property, and he goes, "Hey, I've got this other property," and it's like, it was under contract to be sold, and like they didn't come through. It was just like, "Would you be interested?" And so the first thing I wanted to say was, "Well, why in the shit didn't you call me first?" But I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, it's good to hear from you. Like, go over there. So I met him over at the property, and I did, after we talked, because I already knew the seller. I was like, well, why didn't you just call me first? Like, why? It's like, well, they just, I think it was a postcard. We just got a postcard in the mail, and, we just called, and one thing led to another. And I was like, no, one thing doesn't lead to another. I said, like, yeah, well, I'm calling you now because I know you'll close it. Like, you do what you say you're going to do. Exact words. I was like, yeah, we call that integrity, brother. We call that integrity. So yes, it takes a while to do that. But one of the big things you can do is just do what you say you're going to do when you say it. right?
Yep.
Now shit happens and you can't always adhere to that too, but that goes a long way with people. Just do what you say you're going to do, show up when you say you're going to be there, et cetera,
And
right?
if
And
something happens where you're not going to be able to make it, make sure you own up to that
over
as well.
communicate.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everybody understands shit happens. So yeah, it's good. So I just like integrity, doing the right thing when no one's watching,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So that's what we try to operate in, and then your reputation will build from there naturally. What we call that, like in the social media stuff, organically. It'll grow organically, right? If you just do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, I think people look at we think of the term real estate investing, and we automatically think about finding capital, finding deals, but honestly, the building up the building up the trust and the integrity and just having a good all around reputation literally is the best investment that you can make, I think, in this business. It's an intangible that cannot be, you really can't even quantify it. It's something that everyone that you meet is going to, everyone has a bullshit meter. Everyone does. Some people, you might be able to get by with some of that with some people, but just having a good reputation of just being an honest person will take you many, many places in this business for sure.
Yep.
All right.
And so can that just lead into our last our plug in our closing there is like, so if you want to use the power of our networks, like you can do that. We have a program. It's called the Creative Deal Partners Program. Like it's right there. It's right there on the screen. So we are trying to make, right? Like if you want to be a real estate investor, we're trying to make it as easy, especially on the creative side. We're trying to make it as easy as possible by allowing you to use us. Now, of course, it's not for free, but but in other words, you don't have to start from ground zero. Like we're going to help you hopefully start from like step 2 or 3, right? And then go from there. That's the goal.
That's right. Yeah. Accelerated. Let's say it's an accelerated learning environment. And then, I have to do a shameless plug again.
Sure.
I want to remind everyone about this ecosystem that we've created here with the fund, the Creative RE Capital Fund. Again, right now we are in the building stages on this. We're still looking for more investors, folks that actually want to earn a really great return on their capital. You're welcome to go out, scan that QR code. You're welcome to go out and take a look at that, see what we have to offer. We actually offer our full offering documents out there. So if you head out, if you scan that QR code and head out there and take a look at it, if tenants, toilets, and trash are not your thing, then perhaps a great return without dealing with all that garbage is up your alley. So.
With real estate backed assets, so you don't have the volatility of the stock market as
that's
ups
right.
and downs as well too. So
that's right. That's attractive to anybody. I don't care who you are. Just having a hard asset backed investment is just that just makes me feel much more warm and fuzzy.
And also too, this is another shameless thing. Like we probably don't do this enough. And it's like, man, if you like what we hear, or you like some of the content here too, man, share it with your people. Like we'd love for you to share out. Like we post all this stuff, and you're going to see all these posts shared out on social media about the episode that's here and all that, so you can go and watch it. Share it with your people too. Share it out there, man. We want to make people successful investors. That's our goal.
All right, let's wrap this up here. I don't know. Do we want to go over kind of what we talked about, or what are you feeling here?
I'm feeling like, well, I think it kind of speaks for itself too. But it's like it's who you know is as important as what you know, if not more so, depending on what specifically you're trying to do in real estate. So that was our message today, right? And you need to create your own power team, right? Your own network, power team, whatever you want to call it, right? You need to establish that, and it doesn't happen overnight. So you have to build it.
Right. I like that saying, deals come through networks, not through spreadsheets. I love that.
Yep. Analysis paralysis comes through spreadsheets. They're like living a guilty.
It's true.
So, yeah.
It's so true. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it.
That's good. Well, have a great weekend, and we will be back for more on the Creative Real Estate Mastery Podcast next Friday.
All right. See you guys. Take care.